What's up, everybody, and welcome in to another edition of Big Men on Basketball. It is Tuesday, December 6th, 2022. I hope you're all having a great day wherever you are. We are back at it better than ever. Got another day of college hoops. It is a gloomy day around these parts. It is raining, it is cold, but let's hope the college hoops heats us up tonight. I had a pretty bad night last night. I've had a couple of bad nights. In fact, a couple of bad weeks here. And listen, I think in the gambling world, you can't ever hide from it. There's good times, there's bad. But like I've said before, I don't let a couple of weeks define me as a gambler. You got to keep pushing forward. You got to keep attacking these cards with vigor. And we got a much bigger card tonight than we had last night. Last night we only had 6 games. Went over all of them. A couple of them were tough. I'm sure a lot of you cashed with UMass. I didn't. Even though they scored, I think high 80s, they didn't cover 14 and a half. They won by 14, 89-73. They allowed Albany to score 52 points in the second half after scoring just 21 in the first half. Just there's not much you can do there. Toledo was pretty not Toledo. Kent State was pretty easy. And then the other two were just not even close. I mean, they were just bad bets. And, my continued kind of thought process is I think San Diego State's good, but I think I have to kind of pull back my expectations with them. They're just not a team that can be trusted from three. Again, last night, they don't make enough shots. They were good defensively, but you can't shoot 4 for 24 or whatever they shot from three and expect to win a game by, 20. I mean, they weren't even close. They barely won the game. And then Portland, I'm not really going to get on Portland too much. I've made some money betting on them this year. It just is what it is. They didn't have it. But you move on, you turn the page, and you get after today. Already about 155 people in here. Welcome in. If you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor, hit that like button, show some love, say hello in the chat. If you're watching us on Twitter, hello. Thanks for being here. Make sure you say hello. And if you're out there on Facebook, welcome in. Wherever you're watching, thanks for being here. All right, let's get into the card. Before we do that, let's get into a couple of comments. Stan Kennelly. I'm not sure, my man. That's just how YouTube works. You're going to get notifications from the channel, and you got to live with it. But again, there's a lot of good content on the channel. You want to make sure you check it out. Dylan Holly, complaining as usual. No surprise there. I'm guessing 10 minutes of basketball talk and 45 minutes of him trying to convince us he talks to women. I went over every game yesterday, man. What more do you want? But I don't know why I even acknowledge you. I guess from this point forward, we'll just forget you exist because you don't ever offer anything actually conducive. It's just you fucking whining the entire day. Al B, what's up, my man? How you doing, bro? Good to see you. What's up, Bailey Thomas? Chilling. James Valentine says UMass covered and Kent State covered for me. Well, 2-2 then. You didn't lose anything really, which is fine. All we could do is bounce back. Let's have a day. Yeah, absolutely. Ryan Sheets, what's up, my man? James Valentine, what's up? I bought UMass to 13. Thanks for the sharp pick. Well, listen, glad you were able to cash, my man. Seamus Shields, what's up? Pinkman says, my broad moved from Harrisburg to Lancaster. Treat her well. Well, let me know where she's at. I'm just kidding. No, I would never, I would never do that. I hope she enjoys the city, man. Yeah, that was a rough one as well, man. I hear you. Tyler Smith, what's good? Good to have you. Kyle Zimmerman, Mount St. Mary's Pepperdine. I don't have much on that one. I mean, I'd lean on just kind of avoiding. It's a clash in styles. One team wants to play slow. They will speed you up, though, a little bit, and Pepperdine just wants to go up and down. So not a game that I'm really involved with. Kent State covered 2. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I know my stuff. A lot of people will equate the fact that I pick losers occasionally to not knowing what I'm talking about. But I think we all know it's more about the basis of the breakdowns as opposed to anything. What's up, my man? Brody Hickey, any advice on picking up Latinas? Yeah, I would say don't be corny. You don't try to – some guys try to act like a certain way with a woman, and it's just like, just act normal, Don't try to be something you're not. Just be yourself. You'll grind through these losses, knowledge is off the charts, and that'll win out. Yeah, of course. That's always how it works. I don't really remember much about a 2-3 week period because in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter, right? It's an entire season, right? But all right, man. Let's get through it. Let's get into some comments today. As always, what's up, Tom? Let's get through the games. Let's start first with an interesting one. This is a really interesting game here as far as non-conference, right? It's always important early in the season to highlight your schedule with games that can not only help you with a resume, but can improve your seating, can help you with kind of becoming a veteran team that down the road will be able to perform in high leverage situations. We've seen that with a team like Kent State. They play Gonzaga, they play Houston. Those games are incredibly important to the psyche of a team and for kind of the maturation of your group. Now, St. Louis is a team that generally does that as well. And we look at what they've done so far, have played Murray State, have played Memphis and won, have played Maryland, did lose that game, but played it, played Providence, won that game. They also played Auburn in a close loss down in Auburn. So there's not anything to really hang your head about if you're St. Louis. I've said before, and I will say this again, St. Louis is the class of the Atlantic 10, one of the strongest mid-major conferences in America. This is another game that is going to lend very helpful. Now, Iona, if you're Iona, question I have with this group is, this is not a likely at-large team. They're going to have to win the MAC, which they should be able to. They're the case in point best team in the MAC. Now, when we look at both these teams, these are two very good mid-major groups. Now, Rick Pitino actually coached Travis Ford to coach St. Louis at one point. So there's a lot of connection between these two. This is a huge mid-major game. Now, I've said before, I'm not a huge fan of short road favorites. I don't like them. That being said, I think there's a couple of advantages St. Louis does have in this game. The first one is obviously the quality of team that they are. They are an elite offensive team because their point guard, Yuri Collins, is just absolutely terrific. You look at, as far as in the entire country, he is number one in assist rate. You look at over the season, right? Even the last 4 games, he has 58 assists and only 13 turnovers. That is pretty incredible, quite honestly. That is some really high IQ basketball being played. And a team goes with how their point guard goes. There's a reason they have a top 25 turnover percentage. There's a reason that their non-steal percentage turnovers are low. And when I say non-steal percentage turnovers, enforced errors or unforced errors that you have as a team, double dribbles, stepping on the end line, stupid turnovers. They do not have those type of things. And it's no secret that they've been able to very much compete at the high major level and have completely owned teams that they should be beating. This is a very good basketball team. They're very good on the defensive end. And Iona is also very good on the defensive end. However, when I look at kind of what they do, to me, the best talent they had last year, they lost. Right? You look at a guy like Tyson Jolly, he's gone. It's a big loss. You look at an Elijah Joyner, he's gone. That's a big loss. Now, you still have Nelly Jr. Joseph. You still have some talent there. They're also without Quinn Slazinski right now, which is a big loss. I noticed that recently. That is all very concerning when you go into these games. Now, I will say Walter Clayton has done a nice job for them, the second-year player. Do I think he is to the level of your Tyson Jollies? No. And I think he's going to have his hands full with Yuri Collins. When I look at a game like this, to me, I'm always saying to myself, who do I have as the better team, first of all? It's St. Louis. Do I think Rick Pitino is a significantly better coach than Mr. Ford? I don't think he's significantly better. I think he is better. But I look at St. Louis and I just say to me, this is a game where you just say to yourself, I trust my power ratings. I think St. Louis is the better team. You also have to throw in the fact that they have covered St. Louis 7 of 10 on the road. This has been a good team on the highway. They've covered 4 or 5 away from home. That is a team which I don't even have to look. I can guarantee. Here's one thing you're going to know about St. Louis. They have a lot of continuity and they're experienced. That translates to winning on the road. That translates to going into these types of games and winning them. Remember the game against Memphis? They tried to blow it, but they ultimately got the job done. This is a team that I think you can go and trust on the road because of look what they've done. They've went to Maryland. They did lose, but they went to Maryland. They played Providence on a neutral. They went down to Auburn. This team has had high leverage situations and have played together in those situations for a long time. This is a big game for St. Louis. I think they treat it like it. I like St. Louis tonight. I think they get the job done on the money line. I don't want to worry about money any points late, but this is a big game. I'm going to trust a rock in Yuri Collins on the road in a tough atmosphere. I think they get the job done here tonight. St. Louis Billikens. Also, I like that free throw percentage. Travis Ford has really worked on that as a team, and I'm happy to see that it's paying off in big numbers. Lino Garcia, what's up, my man? He says Texas covers tonight. Well, I want to get to that game, and we're going to get to it right now. Texas currently at the Barstool Sportsbook is a 3.5-point favorite against the Illinois Fighting Illini. Total is 141.5. This number is ticked up. It was 2.5 earlier today. You see the money moving it up. I put this number about where it is. I think Texas on a neutral is probably about a 3-point favorite against Illinois. There are still issues that I think Illinois has, and we saw them magnified in that game against Maryland. The problem you have here tonight is I kind of equate Texas as just a better version of Maryland, and that's concerning to me against a younger team with not a ton of cohesion and a team that turnovers remain a big issue. This is a big spot for Illinois. Now, here's the advantage they have in this game. Texas has not been in a rough environment, neutral or road, yet this season. Here's the thing, though. Texas is a national brand. I don't know if you're going to see the levels of neutrality like we saw with Illinois and Vegas, where it was like a home game for them. I don't think we quite see that here at MSG. Though we could, they do travel well. I have to give the Illini fans credit. I like both these teams, but I've said before and I'll say it again. The most complete team in America are the Texas Longhorns. They're the most well-coached. They're the best defensive team in America, and they have the offensive numbers this year that they've not had in years past. I think one of the glowing things that I've noticed about the Texas Longhorns, you look at a game against Creighton and Gonzaga. They're two top games this year, two top 10 teams they were playing. You look at the numbers this team's had. Defensively, they've been elite, right? They're top 3 in America. They turn you over. They speed you up. And that's concerning tonight because the issue that Illinois continues to have is turnover problems. Those are issues. They're in the 260s from a turnover standpoint. That cannot continue. You're going to lose games like this. And again, I equate Texas a lot to what Maryland is. You also look at the fact here. Texas is 5th in America in 2-point offense. You know where they are in 3-point offense? 314th. They haven't made their threes, and they're still the number 1 team in the country. Wait till they start hitting some jump shots. They have just been dominant inside. They don't settle for bad shots. They're not going to just jack up jump shots. They just don't do it. They are that good from a perspective of across the board. Their interior is a lot better. Their depth is a lot better. Their cohesiveness is a lot better. They're deep. They're 32nd in bench minutes. They go deep into this bench. Jabari Rice can come off the bench. You could throw in the Dylan Mitchells. You could throw in these guys that are trustworthy. They can come at you in waves. I don't know that I'd want to go much higher than this. I didn't play this game at this hour, but I definitely like Texas. I think Texas in some sort of money line situation, maybe with another game, is quite enticing to me. I really like this team. I think it is going to be a very difficult ask to anyone to beat this team. Really, I think until you get into probably the depths of January. I mean, you look at their first, to me, really challenging game after this. I mean, you don't get to maybe into January before you see that. They don't play Baylor or Kansas until January 30th. They're going to play Texas Tech, but it's at home. They get Kansas State at home. It could be, if they win this game, it could be a long time until Texas lose. Just being honest with you. The 2 best teams in America reside in the great state of Texas. It's that simple. In this game, I think there are some distinct advantages that I think the Longhorns have. Now, I will say this, and I will credit Illinois. I saw another very similar situation they were in this type of game. Guess who? Against UCLA, and they completely went off in that game. You can get these games for Illinois where, Terrence Shannon could go off. Now, we have to remember in that UCLA game, he had what? 29 points. He was 8 for 9 from 3. He has not had a game near the level of that in a long time. So, do I think we see that tonight from Mr. Shannon? Probably not. And if he doesn't play like that, they probably don't win that game against UCLA. But he did play that well. To me, there's too much for me to like about Texas, but I want to see how they play in a tough atmosphere. I think they answer the call. I guess we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, as far as your opinion, if I'm giving you my thought, I agree with you. I think they do cover. Did it give me enough wiggle room to make money, in my opinion? No. Love listening to your stuff in the locker room with the guys. The Heat are big fans of big men on campus. Jimmy Butler's in here. Wow. Amazing. I'm a big Jimmy Butler fan. I love this time in Philadelphia. Jimmy, we miss you in Philadelphia. I only wish this was really you. That's great. I love Jimmy Butler. Kane, hey Jeff, what's up, Kane? How you doing? Good to see you, man. Cade Brown, we're gonna sure try, bro. Shout out Nadu crew. Yes, shout out to the Nadu crew. I love it. What up, OG Souls? Steven says big bounce back on campus. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Amen to that, David. Cliff says, what about Houston first half and game? What's interesting because I was going to talk about that game next. The Houston Cougars are 32.5-point favorites against the North Florida ? Who is the North Florida mascot? Ding, ding, ding. Dozen time, it's the Ospreys. By the way, programming note, speaking of the dozen, our team, the Con Men, is playing tomorrow. We are recording it tonight against Riggs and Foreplay. Now, Riggs is guaranteed to win. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I think he's taking us a little lightly, but we are recording that tonight at 7 o'clock. So you're going to have to make sure you watch it tomorrow. We had a great effort in the first game. I think we're going to surprise some teams this year. By the way, 370 people on YouTube. Welcome in. Do me a favor. Hit that like button. If you're watching us on Twitter, hello. And if you're on Facebook, what up? Good to see you. Let's get into Houston and North Florida. I've talked about North Florida before. Their coach, Matthew Driscoll, has a very interesting game plan. Year to year, his goal with his teams are to shoot as many threes as possible. And they are going to let you shoot as many threes as you want. They want the volume of threes at a very high level. Now, there is a distinct problem year to year with this team. When you are shooting 40 threes per game, you need to make them. And if you don't make them, you're going to get run out of the gym. And that happens way too much. The problem we have at North Florida, okay, let's explain. 3-point to field goal attempts, 35th in America. They throw up threes at a very high level. Problem is they only make 29.2% of them. They don't win very many games. In fact, they have not beaten a Division I opponent outside of South Carolina State, who is in the bottom 15 in America. They have gotten absolutely boat raced by Kentucky and by Gonzaga. Now, tonight you play arguably a team that is significantly better than both of those teams in the Houston Cougars, who are absolutely suffocating on the defensive end. This number very much warrants what it should be. Because again, as I said, Houston suffocates you and makes teams like this very much get punished for their behavior on the court. If you do not play well, you are notoriously going to get destroyed. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind. Houston against bottom tier opponents, I'm talking 250 or worse. They have played 4 times. These are the halftime scores at those games. 54-20 against Norfolk. Remember, we gave you that here on the show. 43-20 against Texas Southern, 51-24 against Oral Roberts, 46-26 against St. Joe's, and 32-13 against NoCo. I'm sorry, there were 5 games, not 4. All 5 games, they were up by 19 or more at the half. The only game where they were not up by more than 20 was against NoCo. They were up by 19. Would have covered the number here. The number in this game in the first half is 18. And that is intoxicatingly high on where I'm going. I'm getting intoxicated thinking about this price because I absolutely love it. It's like a good Stella on a Saturday night. You grab it, you drink it, baby. Houston, Think about this, guys. They're averaging in the 40s. I believe 41 points a game in the first half at home this year. They are going to get into the 40s. The question is, what will North Florida do? North Florida is allowing teams on the road this year in the first half to score 45 points a game. That is a disaster. That is really horrific stuff defensively. I think they are really, really in a bad way here. Remember, one of the reasons Houston's so good in the first half, they were allowing only 19.8 points a game in the first half on average. What happens if the threes aren't dropping tonight? Like we know they're not going to likely drop. Listen, guys, you can get on me if I lose a game. In fact, I don't really know why you get on me because nobody holds a gun to your head. I look at this game. This is one of those good old-fashioned auto plays. I'll be making it. If it wins, I will say congrats, boom, bang, boom, just like I did against Norfolk State, easy winner. If this game ends up being 38-27 at the half, salud. What are you going to do? I'm on it. Houston first half, minus 18. I've already bet it. Cliff says, great show. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. Travis Todd, my man, what's up? UMass Lowell got the job done last night. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. I wish I would have grabbed that one. I said I liked it on the show. Thoughts on Duke, Iowa? Is this Whitehead's breakthrough game? I think it's going to be. This is also a game where I kind of just trust my handicap personally. I think Duke is better than Iowa. I don't take a lot away from Iowa. I think they're very good on offense, but I don't believe they're as talented as years past. I'm not a big fan of Fran McCaffrey. I made that very clear. And yes, I think we finally start to see Duke put everything together. This wasn't on my outline. I didn't love the game, but I definitely had an interest in the Duke Blue Devils tonight. Brian Beck, thank you for being here, my man. I felt so welcomed until I remember Nadu's first name is Jeff as well. Jeff Tucker, welcome in, bro. We'll welcome you in with open arms. Welcome in. Eric Ramsey says, let's get this money. Let's get it. Haddad, UMass minus 14.5. Yep, we talked about it. Sucks. What are you going to do? Nadu, what are you thinking about South Dakota State against Montana? I have no interest in South Dakota State right now. They are a really bad basketball team. I mean, they have major issues with defense per usual. They're not as effective offensively. Look, you can't be effective offensively when you lose as much talent as they did. Doug Wilson, Baylor Shireman, all sorts of guys have left this program. Throw in the fact that, Mark, go look at their travel schedule recently. It's not a team I'm running to back. I don't love Montana either, but I have no interest in South Dakota State right now, which sucks because I like them as a program. It's always about breakdowns. Can't listen to picks with no analysis behind them. You provide that. Thank you. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that, my brother. Appreciate it. This game is huge for Iona. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's huge for both teams, but to me, I think the better, more talented team is, where we go with it. What is the best pickup line at the club? We can't talk about that. We're not allowed here. We're not allowed to talk about anything other than basketball, according to several listeners. I'll get to that after the breakdown, bro. Okay, remind me. Is St. Louis a second weekend team? Is Yuri Collins the best point guard in the country? I don't know if he's the best point guard in the country, but he is super underappreciated. Super underappreciated. Yes, I think they are. I really believe they are. I think they're really good. I have them top 5 mid-major. For sure. That's a good point as well. I mean, they were up in that game. Great point. Great point. Probably should have won the game. They were winning with about 3 minutes to go. Quinn Roney. What's up, Quinn? How you doing? My brother's name is Quinn. Not a lot of people know that. Remember, people, gambling is not the problem. Losing is the problem. Have a winning day. Amen to that, Nick Rio. Nadu, last night I was betting Troy before game and live. Just felt like Troy was controlling the game. Guess what? It worked out. Good for me. But Turd still slide in the chat blaming you for tailing. Just stop, kids. Bet your own games. Wow. Listen, there are a certain level of stupid individual out there that doesn't understand that. But thank you, man. I'm glad you were able to cash at least. It gives me solace that you cashed, bro. Let me get to a couple of other games here. I wanted to bring this game up just because I've talked about Tarleton State a lot. I've talked about this team kind of occasionally as when you're getting points with them, they're generally an auto back. Now, there's a strict line between buying in and just saying, you know what, I'm going to skip today. I'm never going to make a case for Baylor here. I'm just not. Tarleton plays at a very weird level. They play very oddly. They've had a great guard a couple of guards. They're good at forcing turnovers, and they really slow you down and get you out of the game you want to play. And if you look at their games over the years against top-level competition, they always have great game plans in these games. These are not easy games if you're Baylor to play in, especially a Baylor team that right now has had a little bit of question mark. I mean, they lost against Marquette. They did bounce back and win over the weekend, but this game's kind of sandwiched in between Gonzaga. Then you got to go to a neutral site and play a top 60 team in Washington State. You got Iowa State in a week or two. So there's a lot going on here. This is not a game that I think on a Tuesday night you have a ton of interest in really playing. I think it's going to take some time for Scott Drew's team to kind of understand where you go in this game. The problem you have with Tarleton is, how do you score if you can't force turnovers? Right? Because that's exactly how they want to do things. They want to get up in your grill. They're going to be a top 10 turnover percentage team on defense. But if they can't force those turnovers, if the Keontae Georges and the Flaglers aren't turning the ball over, where do you go for your offense? Because you look at it in the half court, they're very problematic. Now, here's the thing. There are two things Tarleton do very well: turn you over and get to the free throw line. You know who the number one team to get the free throw line is in America? Tarleton State. Baylor has had major problems with fouling, defending without fouling. That's problematic in this game because with the tempo they play at, with the fact that they're likely going to get some points off turnovers, and coupling in the fact of how slow they want to play and the fact that they will get some 25, 30 free throws in this game, it is conducive to Tarleton's game plan. If I'm betting this game, I'm leaning on Tarleton. I'll probably have a little play on them. They could lose 85-60. I think their game plan is conducive to hanging in games, and we've talked about that. Hanging in games last year against Gonzaga and Michigan, beating the Arizona States this year. You look at other games they've been in. Beat Belmont. That's a good basketball team. Hung around with a good Wichita team. Hung around with Drake, who's likely going to win the league this year. Beat up Boston College by 16. Tarleton beat an ACC team by 16, guys. That's good stuff. This is, to me, a little high. I think this is kind of how you would envision, just too many points in a game. I'd have put this number around 15, 16. I think once you're getting close to 20, this reminds me a little bit of Kent State Gonzaga. And I think it's a bit bigger. I think Kent State can compete with anyone in America. I don't believe Tarleton probably can, but this is a lot of points to give them. It just is. And I think we're kind of equating Baylor as, the team of a year or two ago. I think they're very good, but I don't know if they're exactly that team. Now, athletically, they're much better, but this is a really tough game plan if you're Scott Drew. Really tough if you're Scott Drew. Noticing less trolls lately, people finally starting to enjoy the content. Well, that's because there was only like 2 or 3 of them. And when you get them out of here and you just get rid of them, life's a whole lot easier. Really, there are very few trolls out there, but there are trolls that have 5 or 6 accounts and they just continue with this constant stupid crap. Like, just get rid of them. It's way better off. The world is way better without certain parasites in it. All right. Thoughts on Wisconsin and Maryland? Line has swung from Maryland to now the Badgers. Well, listen, it swung because it's a really tough job to go into Wisconsin and win games. That is a really tough thing to do. And I think what you have here is your case in point of what do you look for when you have league games? I would be on Wisconsin here. And it's very simple. Maryland is a better team, but there is a strong reason as to why Wisconsin is now a favorite. They play really odd. They're very slow. They don't have great athletes, but they just wear you down. And it is tough to go into Madison and win, especially when you're coming off the kind of win that Maryland just had. This team is undefeated, and they are now an underdog against Wisconsin. That tells you all you need to know. I will always be on the home team here. Always. That is a strong move. 8-0 goes from a favorite to a dog when the whole world's betting on Maryland. I like whiskey here. I would be playing them if I were you. In fact, I'm going to use the good old-fashioned fuck it and play it myself. Where's my fucking pen? Give me my motherfucking pen, man. Here we are. Here's my pen. I'm adding whiskey to my card. Whiskey money line to go along with the Houston first half. That will be something that I'm betting. I hope you join me. Thanks for the picks, Nadu. You're the man. Thank you, Ben Mattis. Appreciate that, my friend. Love the show. Thanks for putting in the time. In Nadu we trust. My man, Brian Beck. What's up? Thoughts on TCU against Jackson State now that they're fully healthy? Yeah, it's been a tale of two seasons for Texas Christian. It's the teams that are losing to Northwestern State, but they're also the teams that are beating Iowa. I don't really know what to figure. Jackson State is very small. Now that TCU is fully healthy, I would definitely be looking to back them. I'm definitely tiptoeing, though, to wanting to do it, though. I wouldn't be running to do it. ECU, I would have no interest in betting. They are the second luckiest team in America, I believe. They go down in every game and somehow fight back. That is not going to last long term. I don't have any interest in betting a team like that. Let's get two more here. Toledo, Northern Iowa. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not betting this one, but I wanted to talk about it. Toledo is a team that has to put away the fact of thought where they are not getting into the NCAA tournament. They're going to have to win this conference. But this is another game where it helps you in the long term to go play these games. Toledo, I don't believe, to me, is backable right now. And it hurts to say that because I really like them, but they just continue to find ways to lose games. I thought they had a great spot against George Mason on Saturday. Seems like they had an easy trip to get in there. They had better guard play, but they just didn't play well enough defensively yet again. And it's hard to trust this team right now. Throw in the fact laying points on the road. This is not a vintage Northern Iowa team. These have not been good defensive teams from this group in years past. To me, though, this is, I think, going to be a clash in styles. If I had to play it, I would lean towards maybe just betting it over here. I could see this game being like, I don't know, 80-76 or something. I could see it finding its way over the number. Because think Toledo, the problem they have here, though, is this is going to be a lot like George Mason. Northern Iowa is not going to allow them to get out and run out like they do in transition. But the good thing about Toledo is they're going to be forced into a lot of jump shots and three-pointers with a jump shooting team that's very good. I believe they're top 30 in mid-range percentage, Toledo. So I think that's conducive for them to make shots and score in this game. We can venture to believe Bowen Bourne is going to have a big game here. Toledo has a lot of issues defensively. That continues to be a problem for Kowalczyk and group. Just an interesting game. I think it's hard right now to trust this Toledo team. And it's crazy to say that because they have been one of the better teams against the spread over the last couple of years. They just can't seem to figure out the defensive alignments this year. Final game I wanted to hit on is James Madison against Virginia. And this, I think, is going to be a good old-fashioned run into a brick wall if you're JMU. We know what JMU wants to do. Mark Bennington's talked before about they want to play as fast as humanly possible. Now, last year in this exact game, they didn't play very fast. It was 52-49. And guess who won? JMU. A lot of revenge here for Virginia. And this is a way better Virginia team this year. But then again, this is running into a brick wall. Look at last year. They scored 52 points. Virginia did everything they normally do on defense. They limit you in transition and don't let you get out and run on them. They're going to make you hit jump shots. They're not going to let you get into your offense, and they're going to put a wall up at basically the top of the key and say, do what you got to do. Take as much time as you can. You're likely not going to make a shot. We're then going to take the air out of the ball and do what we have to do. It is hard to cover if you're Virginia. However, a couple of things here. Last year, as I said, JMU beat Virginia 52-49. Keep in mind in that game, you did not have Ben Vanderplas, which I think he is a big catalyst for this team this year. I think they go from losing games like they did last year to having people like him and Caden Shedrick as bigger focal points. This is how they cover games and win these games going away. Because Vanderplas is going to give you 10, 12, 13 points a game. That is huge in a game like this. Shedrick is more of a defined role. You have a better Jaden Gardner. Kihei Clark is just better and better. Armand Franklin. These guys are just 1 year better. And remember, in that game last season, UVA from three was 4 for 26. I know you guys, some of you may not be good math people. That's 15% from three. Right now, this team in Virginia is absolutely sniping. And I think the thought is they're going to continue sniping. You look at so far on the season, Virginia, 42.3%. Clark is at 43%. Beekman at 47%. Franklin at 41%. Vanderplas 42%. And then McNeely, the freshman, in off the bench, he is 9 for 21, 43%. All he does is comes in, defends a little bit, and makes a couple of threes per game. Those things are huge. This is a much different game. If Virginia shoots the ball at a pretty high level in this game, let's just say their season average or around 40%, they will cover this number. They're too good on the defensive end. This is, again, if you're JMU running into a complete fucking brick wall because you're not going to get anything on Virginia. It just doesn't happen. They're too good on defense. And they're in major revenge here. This is one of those games where you don't want to leave much doubt. This game kind of screams to me a little bit as 76-52, something like that. I think looking back, we may look at this game at the end of the night and say, okay, that makes sense. Virginia is back. And this is a game where JMU's a solid team. They're going to catch you if you're not careful. 413 people in here on YouTube. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. I believe we haven't been up into the 700-800 since the first week of the show. We've kind of tailed off a little bit and are generally around 350, 400. Let's try to keep moving up. Do me a favor. Retweet the show on Twitter. Put this out there. It helps our algorithm here on the Barstool Sportsbook YouTube channel. I'm really happy with our group here each day. We are not Pick Central or Pick 'em. But we do pretty damn well as far as just an independent show that is just me, right? So thanks for being here each day, guys. Let me go through a couple of comments here and catch up with you guys. Tristan, what about Sam Houston State catching 10 against Oklahoma State? Does that line seem high to you? No, because I think Sam Houston's really going to struggle against the length of Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State is actually really good. I think defensively they're strong as hell. They have just gotten better and better at the guard position. I get a weird feeling they go down early and don't exactly recover in this game. I really like what I think Oklahoma State can bring on that end. They're tenacious. They're strong. They force turnovers. They just give you nothing in the half court. I thought they played really well against UConn, and they were right in that game pretty much the entire time. I think they're starting to stabilize themselves a little bit. I think the under is probably a good one. I don't think either team really necessarily gets into their offense. What do you think about a Duke Texas money line parlay? I don't hate it. I mean, I think it's pretty square. You're definitely kind of battening down the hatches and betting probably two of the most publicly bet teams tonight. Listen, I think if you have a game you want to pair maybe with Texas, I would probably say, let me think here. Well, I didn't mention Pacific, and I've talked a lot about Pacific. I really like this offense. I like Pacific a lot. They're at home tonight against Northern Arizona. Pacific is really good. They have a lot of good guard play. They have good high-profile kids. They don't turn it over. They shoot the ball really well. They're averaging about 80 points a game, and NAU is gotten destroyed against any team with a pulse. I think NAU gets beat here. I don't love laying points at Pacific just because they don't really defend at a high level, but I think that's another good one. What up, Alex Prisco? Thanks for being here. I already mentioned I like Wisconsin in that game. I bet Wisconsin. If I don't answer your question, I've already talked about it. I know I'm behind in the comments here, so let me get down here towards the bottom. Rondam Malaka says, Fali Mendarit for the picks, my guy. My man, I appreciate it. For anyone that doesn't know, Fali Mendarit is thank you in Albanian for you non-speaking Albanians. Fali Mendarit shum. That would mean thank you very much. Thank you for watching, Random. Appreciate you. Where are you from, bro? Lithuania, possibly? Malakas? Could be Greek, possibly, as well. Welcome in either way, my brother. Do you like the under in Texas? Feels like a lot of college teams have trouble putting up points in MSG. Yes, I think anytime Texas plays, I have interest in the under, for sure. Favorite play of the day. As I said, I have two I like for sure. I'm on Wisconsin money line and Houston first half, minus 18. Would you take Houston first half at 19.5? Yeah. I mean, I want the best number. I got 18, but I think they're all pretty good. I bet it earlier. But yeah, I think they should be up 20 plus for sure. Tarleton State is a lock, says Scary Larry. All right. Well, I don't know if anything's a lock, but I wish you luck in your in your game there, my man. Someone's asking about Fordham and the Wagner Seahawks. Um, I don't know. I mean, I got to tell you, I've been pretty impressed with Fordham. I feel like in the games they don't turn it over, they're actually pretty effective. And they're at home here. I was a little surprised to see, Wagner is such a big favorite. I'm not really sure that I understand that. I don't think Wagner's very good. They're not good offensively, and they're one of the worst free throw shooting teams in America. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I would lean Fordham. I don't really. Be honest, I don't understand this number much at all. I think you have the number wrong. I believe I could be wrong, but I think Fordham's the favorite, not Wagner. I was a little confused with what you said there. Yeah, Fordham's the favorite, bro. Look, if Fordham was an 8.5-point dog at home, I'd be on them. They're an 8-point favorite. Sounds about right. I think Fordham is pretty solid. Wagner is bad without Bashir Mason. Tanner Brown, happy holidays to you and yours. Same to you, Tanner. Thank you, bro. What else do we have here? What else do we have here? I'm betting the Terps. I think you should change. Quinn, someone made account Quinn Nathan. That's funny. That's not you, Quinn. If that's you, Quinn, text me. If not, we're gonna block you because you're not gonna make a count on my brother. That's kind of lame. He says, "Hey, bro, I'm betting the hey, bro." Yeah, he would say that. He says, "Bro," a lot, so he would say that. How long does it take for you to break down a game, generally speaking? What do you mean? Like, do the research? Not really long at all. I mean, a lot of this is in my head already. Yeah, this is how I know it's not my brother. He doesn't say brother. He would say, "Hey, bro," or "What's up?" If that's you, call me. Call me. Do you sleep over at Joey Camasta's when you stay in New York? No, I don't. I have not been invited yet. No. I don't know if you're trying to like make a joke, but it's kind of lame. Gay jokes? Is that what you're really doing, dude? Like, super weird. Like, bro, it's 2022. You're making gay jokes? It's not 1999, brother. Late night action, Nevada, Pepperdine. Any thoughts? Pepperdine plays. I thought they played Mount St. Mary's. I just might be getting them confused. No, they play Nevada. I would lean over. Mount St. Mary's plays Loyola Marymount, I believe. Would you invite guests to join the show? No, just because I have no idea what people would show. I mean, they could show their private parts or something weird. I can't control what people show. Maybe we could try to get calls at some point going, but I'm not gonna do that. By the way, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm blocking the Quinn Nadu account. That's lame. Someone making up stupid family names and stuff. It's weird. All right. Do I like Syracuse? I looked at that game. Yeah, I do. I mean, Oakland is a mess right now. I mean, you talk about a bad defensive team. Syracuse should be able to get whatever they want. I would lean more towards maybe a team total in that game. I don't have anything on South Dakota Air Force. Two bad teams. I don't know what Pluzowite's status is. He's been in and out for them. He's their best player. So for me, that's a pass. All right. Better results picking up ladies in New York bars or Philly. I don't go out in New York bars. Generally, when I go to New York, I do what I have to do and leave. I don't want to go to New York. I don't like New York. I go when I need to. College football, does Ohio State have a shot against UGA? Absolutely, they have a shot. Thoughts on Rico Bosco? None. I don't talk about him anymore. I really could care less about him. Yale plus 6.5 against Butler. I like James Jones. I like Yale. They're always a very good team. Do I like Butler? Yes, I actually like them as well. I like Manny Bates a lot. This is a much different team than the one we've been accustomed to, under the Lavelle Jordan of the world. Thad Matta has done a much better job there. And it seems like Butler is starting to get back. I thought that was a really nice win against K-State. Beat up a pretty good BYU team a couple of weeks ago. This offense is good, and a lot of it has to do with Manny Bates. Jay Mallory says, Nadu simply moves the needle. He's very good at content and has put in the results over time. Love the show. Thank you, Joe. Yes, I've been doing this a long time, so this is all kind of normal to me. By the way, guys, I filmed earlier today the episode that I'm putting out tomorrow on the sit down. And I know some of you, it's taken maybe a little time to get into the show. The good thing about the sit down is we have a really great audience. We had it before Barstool, and Barstool's only helping grow the show. It's allowed us to get people like Sammy Gravano. I have a great show coming out tomorrow with a ICE agent, a former ICE agent, who actually was ambushed on a highway in Mexico. He was shot multiple times and his partner was killed in the line of duty. We really got into the border. We got into the flow of drugs and how it really is destroying our country. And we talked about his career. It was awesome. It was one of the coolest interviews I've ever done. So if you enjoy that type of content, last week I did a blog. It was the 9th highest viewed blog of the week on the website about La Barbie. We talked about all sorts of cartel content. So if you like that kind of thing, make sure you check out the episode tomorrow. I think you're going to enjoy it. This guy was really well-spoken, Victor Avila. He was awesome, and it was a great interview. So make sure you guys check that out tomorrow. All right. I already talked about Wisconsin, Maryland. I like Wisconsin. Troy is the best college basketball betting team of all time. Well, last night they seemed to be. Do I have any thoughts on UGA and GT? UGA is seemingly healthy again. I think GT is bad. So, yeah, I would lean UGA there. Yeah, St. Louis, Bryant. Bryant plays tonight. I'd watch out with them a little bit. They have some COVID issues. I'm not talking about people's jobs. That's fucking lame. Yep. I played 18, but I think it's definitely worth it. Alex Prister says, great Ken doll blog. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Chris Reed, will Louisville win a game? Yes, I think they will win one game. I believe they play Florida FAMU. I think they will win that game. But I think that could be the only one. Jiggy M, is UConn a Final Four team? I think they are, for sure. I think you'd have to be crazy to not think so. I mean, Connecticut has been are they the best team in the Big East? I think it's quite possible. I mean, they have been absolutely elite on defense. They've been great on offense. They're very free-flowing. They don't turn the ball over much. They have a really good, solid offense, really at every level. They've beaten some really good teams. We haven't seen them go on the road yet. And I think tomorrow night is a big test. I know Florida is not as good as UConn, but I think that's a big test. Going down to the swamp and taking on the boys from Gainesville. That's a tough game. We will see a lot out of this team. If they go down and take care of business, cover the number, win by 10, they are really legitimate. That's the only thing we haven't seen them do. Go to a neutral or a road atmosphere and win a game. Would I bet Oakland team total over 64? Well, really it's going to come down to Oakland. Can they make threes? Because we know that Syracuse is going to throw up a wall and say, make shots. Would I bet them? No, I wouldn't. They don't make threes. So you're really a slave to if they make threes or not. They have no bench. They're very limited right now. And to me, Greg Campy is basically playing players that shouldn't play right now but they're injured and they have to. Not a team I'm interested in backing. Good luck. That is a bottom of the barrel game. Two bad teams. Don't really have any reason to understand why anyone would bet that one. Thanks, Jacob. Appreciate you. What is the best crime show on Netflix? The best crime show on Netflix ever? I'm not a big fan of the Netflix series, if I'm being honest. There are some great Netflix films about crime, but I think you'd have to go elsewhere to watch great crime shows. The greatest crime shows of all time are Gomorrah, The Wire, The Sopranos, The Shield, and Oz. Sons of Anarchy. Netflix has decent shows. Narcos are quite good, but it's more about their documentaries and films that are better. I've seen some great movies on Netflix, but I'm not really into like Baking a Murder is not a crime show. That's a documentary. Crime show is like a produced show. I don't really feel like I've ever really got into any of them, to be fair. Would I go with JMU team total under? Yeah, I think that's a good play. Yeah, I hear you on that, Wolf Designs. Yeah, it's a big game for them tomorrow night. It's a big game for them tomorrow night. Will Kentucky ever come together and dominate? I think they will. I think they'll be fun. Oz is so underrated. Yes, very good show. Big fan. Do you know what happened to Kayvon Kramer? Yeah, he's got COVID. He's in the hospital. Favorite character, Omar Little or Tony Soprano? Tony, for sure. I think Omar's a great character. I wouldn't say he's the – some people say he's the greatest character of all time. I don't agree with that. I think there were significantly better characters in the show than Omar, but he is a legendary character, and may we say rest in peace to both of those terrific actors, Michael Kenneth Williams and James Gandolfini, two of the greatest television actors of all time. And Omar was in a lot of great shows and films as well. By the way, made a cameo in The Sopranos, season 2, season 3, when they offed a certain younger individual. I'm not going to give it away to people. The Untouchables was a pretty good show. Our dads watched. It was a film, and it's total bullshit. It's an okay movie, but it is not true at all. And I'm not a big fan of those types of films. At least be relevant and somewhat true. Elliot Ness did very little to actually arrest Al Capone. And it's kind of pathetic how they took their own licensing. Also, I thought De Niro was really bad as Al Capone. I thought that was his one bad role in his career. First season of True Detective was badass. That's a good point. It was very good. But it wasn't a good show in general. Updated Final Four picks. We'll do that closer to Christmas. How would you rank Power 6 conferences in order? I don't know. The best conference in America to me is the Big 10, SEC, Big 12. I mean, those are the top 3. I mean, do we even need to go into the other ones? I mean, Big East is down, obviously. Pac-12 isn't great. Mountain West, I think Mountain West is solid. I don't know. I don't really care much about the Power 6 outside of the top 3. They're all very good teams, and they all make the NCAA tournament. I don't really care much about them as a whole. I don't care who wins them. I didn't see that. I don't know what that is. All due respect, The Untouchables sucked. Yeah, well, it's not a good movie. I mean, I guess it's okay if you just realize like it's not true at all. But yeah, Boardwalk Empire, that's another great show. Good luck, Ryan Gupton. I think that's a good one. If they hit it, they'll hit the first half. Nah, she ain't here, bro. You got to wonder, where is she if she's not with you? All right, guys, I'm out of here. I have to go work out. I've had a super busy day, and I have not had any time to go work out. So I need to take 20, 30 minutes and go run and, do my thing. So I need to have some alone time. I got dozen at 7. I got to eat at some point. I got to get my podcast ready. Tuesdays are a busy day for me. So, let's kind of wrap this thing up as always. Yeah, well, that's a good one. I think maybe younger kids. Yeah, that would be kind of funny. Maybe for like babies or something. I don't know. We'll have to look into that. Go get your Mr. Stay Abroad merch. I think it's selling okay. Absolutely. Nadu's never stolen a single broad. I actually have. I've talked openly about it in high school when I did it. It was the first time I ever did it. But there are some people where you tell stories and they just, that never happened. It's like, just listen to the story. Do you have to be a douche all the time? All right, I'm out. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm here tomorrow, same time, same place. Jim Root tomorrow, Wednesday, instead of Thursday this week. He is on tomorrow. Make sure you join us. We have another interesting card of college hoops. I will see you all then. Tonight, I'm on Houston first half -18 against North Florida, and I am on Wisconsin -1.5. Or Wisconsin actually took the money line. Wisconsin money line against the Maryland Terrapins. Have a great night. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye-bye.